Welcome to my studio. This is Shawn Delker, and I am a fiber artist. Let's talk for a little bit about what is a fiber artist. People get that kind of confused. Traditional quilts are usually geometrical shapes and patterns similar to this. They've been made for hundreds of years and used as bed coverings. However, an art quilt is not a bed covering and is usually used as a wall hanging. Fiber artists can use many tools when they're working, like fabric dyes, pencils, inks, and thread, and many more. They still qualify as quilts because they are 3 layers stitched together, but they don't look like the quilts that were traditionally made. This is my recently finished artwork. I called it Mr. and Mrs. Finch. As you can tell, it doesn't look anything like a traditional quilt. I used my ice-dyed fabrics and lots of thread to make the birds. It started out as a photograph that my husband took using a remote camera. Then I had him enlarge it to the size that I wanted, and that was the beginning of my project. I traced it using a light table onto the fabric that was a similar color to the color of the birds. Then I created a sandwich of stabilizers using iron-on fusible. Now I'm off to the sewing machine. Doing a thread painting is much like doing any kind of painting, except I use thread as my paint and my sewing machine is the paintbrush. Here you see all the colors that I used in Mr. and Mrs. Finch. Every part of the bird has about 3 layers of different colored thread to create the color and the texture that I wanted. I wear these special gloves because they have a rubber tips on their fingers and they help me control my fabric. Then I start my machine and I stitch. I usually stitch and kind of give it a general color in, but eventually it will be totally covered with thread. This takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of practice to get good at this. When I get done with my piece, then I'm going to cut him out of this piece and glue him down onto the background that I have chosen for him. This is another piece that I finished. As you can tell, many of my artworks come from my own garden. I did this with a totally different technique. I used my ice-dyed fabric, and then I used for the flowers and the leaves my ink pencils that I enjoyed coloring them in. As you can tell, as a fiber artist, you have lots of different tools to use, and they're each fun and interesting and give a totally different look to your piece. If you're interested in my artwork and want to know more about what I do, you can visit me at www.betwigquilts.com. In that website, you will see a gallery of everything that I have done and lots of different techniques that I do, and you'll even get to see classes, events, and shows that I'm going to be in. So visit me soon.